man who possessed every piece of intelligence still lost the war. He didn't lose for lack of information. Yuan Shao had more troops than Cao Cao. Yuan Shao had more intelligence than Cao Cao. And yet Yuan Shao lost. People believe the volume of information decides victory. They are wrong. The eye that reads the information decides victory. Given the same intelligence, one person builds triumph and another builds ruin. Today's subject is not a shortage of information. It is the moment judgment collapses, even with information in hand. Image 2. People want to gather evidence that they are right. This is not a matter of intelligence. It is a matter of desire. People want their already made decisions confirmed again. So, only information aligned with their decision catches their eye. Information pointing the other way slides past them. This is called the confirmation drive. It operates without exception, even on intelligent people. In fact, the smarter the person, the more dangerous it becomes. Intelligent people hold stronger conviction in their own judgment. The stronger the conviction, the finer the filter that screens out opposing information. The very act of gathering information creates an illusion. The more one investigates, the more one believes one knows. In reality, one has simply seen more of what one already wanted to see. Image 3. What collapses when opposing information is accepted? The judgment built up until now collapses. When judgment collapses, authority collapses. When authority collapses, one's position shakes. People know the sequence instinctively, so they feel opposing information itself as a threat. When people feel threatened, they defend first. That defense doesn't take the form of reviewing information. It takes the form of denying it. Those in leadership positions carry this fear more heavily. They have already declared a direction in front of many people. Reversing that direction feels like it will expose incompetence. So they don't reverse it. Instead, they keep searching for grounds that fit their first judgment. This is not conviction. It is fear of what looks like retreat. Image 4. Yuan Shao's camp had brilliant advisors. Tian Feng and Zhu Shou had watched Cao Cao for a long time. Both men repeatedly warned against hasty advances. Yuan Shao had already unified the north. Yuan Shao stood at the top. A warning heard from the top sounds not like advice but like a challenge. The more correct the advisor's words were, the more Yuan Shao's pride was wounded. Inside the camp, there were also voices that agreed with Yuan Shao's judgment. Agreeable voices were comfortable to hear. Warning voices were uncomfortable to hear. People keep comfortable agreement close rather than uncomfortable truth. Yuan Shao gradually began distancing himself from those who warned him. The air inside the camp hardened into a shape that could no longer shake Yuan Shao's judgment. Image 5. Su had long served as Yuan Shao's advisor. Su knew a way to strike Cao Cao's rear. Yuan Shao did not accept Su's proposal. A problem involving Su's family made Yuan Shao suspicious of him. Suspected, Su defected to Cao Cao. Su revealed the location of Yuan Shao's grain storehouse to Cao Cao. Cao Cao took that information and personally led troops on a night raid on Wuchao. The grain burned. The moment the grain burned, Yuan Shao's army began to collapse. The phrase, "War is the way of deception," is completed here. What collapses a person before the enemy deceives them is the judgment that deceives themselves. Yuan Shao did not collapse from a lack of information. He collapsed because he pushed away the person who gave him information. The manager hears it in a diminished form. After a few repetitions, the subordinate stops reporting. A quieted organization looks safe. In reality, information has been cut off. Small business owners make the same mistake. Even when signs show revenue faltering, They cling to the original business plan. Revising the plan feels like admitting failure. Fear of admitting failure holds people longer than actual failure does. Some of you watching this right now have probably had a similar moment. Simply knowing this psychological structure changes the next judgment you make. This channel keeps digging into structures like this. Subscribing and liking helps prepare for the next judgment. Image 7. Violating the principle of war is the way of deception always brings loss. Failing to keep the following 3 brings collapse. Do not gather only information that matches your existing judgment again. Repeatedly gathering information in the same direction grows conviction while reality becomes invisible. Do not quietly push out of the camp anyone who raised an opposing view. The moment you push out a dissenter, the next warning they carried disappears with them. Do not postpone uncomfortable information. Postponed information does not disappear. It reappears at the most dangerous moment. One psychology runs through all 3. It is the phenomenon of feeding yourself only favorable information. This is called the reverse self-awareness phenomenon. Image 8. Practicing the same principle in reverse always brings gain. Check information that contradicts your own judgment first. Whoever checks contradicting information first can change direction before collapsing. Keep the person who says the most uncomfortable things closest to you. The person who says uncomfortable things is the most honest source of information in an organization. Handle unfavorable information immediately. Information handled immediately ends as a small wound, but postponed information burns down the whole camp. Those who practice these 3 are given time to change direction before judgment collapses. This is the only way to reverse the reverse self-awareness phenomenon. Image 9. War is the way of deception. So said Sun Tzu. People read this line only as a technique for deceiving the enemy. That's only half right. There are people who collapse before they ever deceive the enemy. They are the ones who deceive themselves. Gathering only information favorable to oneself is the quietest way to deceive oneself. Shao did not collapse from the enemy's deception. He collapsed from the conviction he built himself. The 3 losses and 3 gains covered today all come from this single line. Deception is a vigilance turned inward before it is a technique turned outward. Only those who don't deceive themselves first earn the right to deceive the enemy. Image 10. Information is not power. The attitude with which one receives information is power. Shao never knew this fact, even to the moment of his death. The flames at Wu Chao burned more than grain. They burned the price of deceiving himself. Yet one knot in this battle remains untied. Su had long been Yuan Shao's own man. Chao was someone he met for the first time that day. Yuan Shao ended up suspecting the man who had stood beside him for years and opening his back to an enemy he had just met. A warning from someone close gets doubted. A stranger's confidence, instead, earns trust. This is the final condition under which judgment collapses. No amount of information matters if you cannot read people. Reading people, in the end, means knowing in advance who to draw close and who to let slip away. Whoever holds that answer sees inside the enemy's camp before the battle even begins.